because I'm still growing my self-awareness, I was not aware of what was going on in the moment. If I was more self-aware, I'd have been like, oh man, I'm getting hot. Hey, babe, it's not you. It's me. I'm getting anxious and hot and bothered because the temperature of the room is so hot and I'm sweating and I feel very uncomfortable right now. And I haven't eaten very good for the past few days, so I'm coming into this already feeling uncomfortable and not very happy with my decision-making process the last few days. So just please know it's not had anything to do with you. It's just me, and I've got to process through this stuff. I didn't do that. That's what I should have done. So that is an example of the power of our emotions and how it impacted my ability to think clearly, objectively, rationally, logically, because I was emotionally hijacked. I allowed myself to get emotionally hijacked. What is going on, EQ gangsters? Great to have you all join me today. Maybe you're watching on a YouTube channel. Maybe you're listening on the podcast. Thank you so much. This episode, y'all, I'm super stoked. This episode is exclusively sponsored by Magic Mind. It is the world's first productivity drink. More to follow. Can't wait to share about Magic Mind productivity drink. Just wrapped up an episode, like an episode with the EQ Mafia. For those y'all that have been following us for a while, know that is my membership of safe, supportive, encouraging, equipping, empowering community of people, all different backgrounds, military, civilian, executives, entrepreneurs, homeschool families, that are wanting to grow their emotional intelligence, again, in a community environment where we're all kind of moving in the same direction. We're all working on an aspect of our emotional health, emotional intelligence. And it's a great addition to your emotional fitness program if you don't have one. We just had a guest speaker each month. For those y'all, again, kind of, maybe some of you are not familiar with how the EQ Mafia, how we roll, but in the EQ Mafia, twice a month we meet live. Now, there's all kinds of video content, workbook content that's in the EQ Mafia that you can consume self-paced, completely at your own pace. But then twice a month we do live group sessions. One of those live group sessions, my wife does training on an aspect of emotional intelligence. The second half of that session, I do a live coaching session with somebody who wants to work through a real world scenario. The second time each month, I bring in a guest speaker. And tonight just happened to be a gentleman by the name of Dr. Mark Mayfield. He is on episode 187 of my podcast. So I've already interviewed him, and he did such an amazing job, shared such great insights, that I wanted to bring him into the Mafia and have him share in a more intimate setting in the Mafia. He is the author of a book called The Path Out of Loneliness: Finding and Fostering Connection to God, Ourselves, and One Another. The Path Out of Loneliness. If you're on YouTube, you'll be able to see this. I'm holding his book up right now. He's got a lot of great content in here, some great, very interesting, impactful, insightful comments and connections. He's working on a second book right now, Finding the Beauty in Pain. Finding the Beauty in Pain. That's going to be a couple years before that book comes out, but he's working on that right now. He shared some really fascinating and interesting comments and points that I want to bring up. So the point of this episode is, what is the cognitive impact of our emotions? What is the cognitive impact that our emotions play on us? What is the how is our thinking? How is our productivity? How is our effectiveness, our efficiency, the quality of our thinking, the quality of our decision making? How is all of that impacted by our emotions? So tonight, when Dr. Mayfield was sharing in the EQ Mafia, it was fascinating because he was sharing some things. And for those y'all that are watching on YouTube, you see me looking down. I'm just looking at my notes because I don't want to miss anything. If you're on the podcast, obviously don't sweat it. He was talking about the physical energy or quantum energy of emotions. And then he used this analogy. He said, have you ever had a time where you have had a really bad day for whatever reason? You woke up, bad day, or bad day at the office, you come home and you still have that negative energy. You're in that bad mood, that bad kind of negative state of mind, so to speak. You walk in the house and everybody feels it. You don't have to say anything. The kids, your spouse can just look at you and they know, oh snap, in my case, right, Big Papi is not feeling it today. He's not in a good mood. And it doesn't stop there. What happens is, in many cases with our negative energy, it doesn't just stop with you. It then gets translated to or mirrored into those around you, your children, your spouse, etc. Unless we verbalize it. He said if we can verbalize our emotions, hey, hon, kids, just so I had an unpleasant conversation at work today, or I had an unruly customer that I had to deal with, or whatever the situation was. And so I'm kind of in my thoughts and kind of still processing my emotions. If you can just give me 15 minutes, 30 minutes of some processing time, then I'll be able to engage more with the family. And he said just by communicating those unpleasant and uncomfortable emotions, that can help diffuse that unpleasant energy or uncomfortable energy that we can sometimes bring into the house. Well, the funny thing is, maybe not so funny, this literally happened to me yesterday. Hey, and I tell all of you, look, I have not got all this figured out. I'm still actively on my emotional fitness journey, my emotional health journey, my emotional healing journey, very much. I'm 4 years into it, and I'm still working on stuff, working through stuff. And so, but just yesterday, it happened to me. And here's, so I am really revealing a lot of stuff, but this is an example of how my emotions impacted my effectiveness, my productivity, my efficiency, and not just mine, but even the people around me. Now, before I jump into that story, I want to tell you about our sponsor of this episode. So Magic Mind is the world's first productivity drink, and I've had a handful of samples, and number one, it was awesome. So it for me, and I'm just giving you my personal experience. Disclaimer, right? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist, whatever. But I want to tell you my personal experience. When I tried those Magic Mind productivity drinks, I felt like it gave me clarity. I felt like it gave me a physical boost of energy, and I felt like it gave me even, like I said, mental clarity. So almost, I don't know if I could say emotional clarity or if somehow those two are related, but I felt like it gave me more clarity, and it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. And as a podcast host and an executive leadership coach teaching emotional intelligence, obviously I take my mental and emotional clarity, mental and emotional awareness, mental and emotional agility very, very seriously. And check out some of these benefits of the Magic Mind productivity drink. Energy, focus, memory, mood, reduces stress, reduces inflammation, and supports immunity. So to get more information about Magic Mind, visit, now I got a special Ninja Secret Squirrel code here for y'all for 20% off your order. So it's magicmind.co/noble, Noble, for the Secret Squirrel code. Enter in Noble20, Noble20, Noble20 for 20% off your order. You'll get a super neat little box like this. It says, boom, get in the flow state. You all know I've got a podcast episode, actually a YouTube episode earlier on that talks about the flow state, get in the flow state. So again, world's first productivity drink. You'll get this neat little box like this, and it's got a little pamphlet here with a couple QR codes, video from the founder, a video on the science for the best experience, and then what to expect with this drink. All right. That's the skinny, y'all. magicmind.co/noble. Enter in Noble20 for 20% off. So we went to this dinner theater for Valentine's Day. My wife had found a post on Facebook, on social media, and I said, okay, well, what's the name of it? I'll book us some tickets right now, some seats for us right now. So we went and saw the movie. It's a murder mystery, Death on the Nile. It's a new show, and booked these tickets at this theater. So it was like a dinner movie theater. I'd never been to something like that. It was super dope. And went in, found our seats. It was, great cushy seats. It even the seats extended out. You can kind of kick back, and the legs like a recliner. I mean, it was bad to the bone. And then it had like your own individual table that you could swing out, right? They put the food and whatever you order there, boom, and you bring it back. The seats are heated. I mean, it was legit, y'all. But I had probably a few days of not the best eating decisions, and which ties into when Noble gets tired and fatigued, the quality of my decisions, I have noticed for me, decreases in direct proportion to the lack of sleep. So the less sleep I've had, the less quality decisions I make. And that it is what it is. I'm just telling you that's an observation. And so I was kind of going into this evening already feeling kind of yucky and not super great because, again, of my eating decisions at the time, coming into that dinner date with my wife. And then this is another thing too. So you guys know I just finished up a 5-day workshop on taming your triggers, that I have been able to reduce 95% of the frequency of my triggers and 95% of the intensity of my triggers just through the emotional fitness program and some of the tools I've learned over the past few years through intentional application. And so we just got done doing a workshop on that. Well, ironically enough, as again, God's sense of humor. So the room is very hot. And some of you guys have heard me share on some of my previous episodes, when I get hot and sweaty when I'm not exercising. So obviously if I'm doing exercising, it's fine. But it is literally a trigger for me. We spent 24 years in North Carolina where there are 2 seasons, hot and hotter. Summer, it's like 100 plus degree temperature with 90 to 95% humidity. It's like you don't even want to leave your house for 2 or 3 months because you can take a shower, walk out the front door. By the time you get to your car, you already need another shower because you've already sweated through all your clothes. It 24 years of that. So, and what's crazy, like it was crazy, y'all. Last night in this theater, I immediately got angry and uncomfortable and irritated and frustrated and anxious and upset and hot and bothered. Like it was just, man, it completely triggering, right? It's totally triggering. And of course, Kathy can feel it. She knows, okay, something's up. What's going on with Noble? What's his deal? And then we were with another couple, some great friends of ours. And I'm sure I still have to call them up and apologize because I'm sure they noticed it too. But like I started this episode with, our emotional state doesn't just impact us, it impacts everyone around us. And because I'm still growing my self-awareness, I was not aware of what was going on in the moment. If I was more self-aware, I'd have been like, oh man, I'm getting hot. Hey, babe, it's not you. It's me. I'm getting anxious and hot and bothered because the temperature of the room is so hot and I'm sweating and I feel very uncomfortable right now. And I haven't eaten very good for the past few days. So I'm coming into this already feeling uncomfortable and not very happy with my decision-making process the last few days. So just please know it's not had anything to do with you. It's just me, and I've got to process through this stuff. I didn't do that. That's what I should have done. So that is an example of the power of our emotions and how it impacted my ability to think clearly, objectively, rationally, logically, because I was emotionally hijacked. I allowed myself to get emotionally hijacked. But then here was my next thought. I'm like, man, like guys, I can't tell you, like it absolutely drives me nuts, man, when I get hot and sweaty in a room, like when I'm not doing PT, physical training, exercise, and I start sweating again. Like it immediately, oh man, I'm back in North Carolina, right? So I've got all these negative, something about this negative experience just being in North Carolina for 24 years of sweating profusely for 24 years straight is what it felt like. And so I've got to do some work. Like what are those? I clearly have some negative attachment to my trigger of being hot. And I need to figure that out because it's impacting my whole attitude, my behavior. It's impacting everything. And so clearly I need to bust out all my emotional tools that I teach a lot of you guys with, my Go Aped exercise, emotional exercise. I've got that 5-day workshop on Tame Your Triggers that we just got done doing. And work through this and figure out what's going on. But just be aware, and ask yourself, when was the last time you got emotionally hijacked to a point where it impacted your ability to make quality decisions? It impacted your ability to think clearly. It impacted your ability to think rationally and logically. And have you, so not only just identified it, but have you gone back and done the work to heal or work through whatever that was that caused or led to that trigger? Because I don't want to keep getting triggered every time I'm in a hot space and then I immediately make it miserable, not only for myself, but everyone around me is going to feel miserable. But at least now, I'm at least aware now, thankfully, that the next time, hopefully, I am in a hot room, hot house, hot building, I will be able to let people know around me, hey guys, just so you know, I'm kind of working through some stuff. When I get in a hot space, it puts me in the past, it has put me in a state of mind that is not super happy, pleasant, or positive to be around. And I just want you to know it's not you guys, it's around me. It's just something I got to work through based on, living in a very, very hot and humid space for 24 years. And just be honest and transparent, and in hopes that, like Dr. Mark Mayfield shared in the EQ Mafia tonight, that it will diffuse some of those unpleasant energy that I may have been putting off or may put off when I'm in that environment or that situation. And hopefully also not just diffuse that negative energy for those around me, but for me also, by verbalizing, because just verbalizing our emotions, right? Because when you name it, you can tame it. When you name the emotions, you can tame the emotions. So in hopes that when I increase, as my self-awareness increases, it will also enable my ability to talk about my unpleasant, uncomfortable emotions in a safe, non-threatening way, so that those around me can understand that it's not them, it's just something that I got to work through myself. and again, hopefully, ultimately lower the unpleasant or uncomfortable energy that I may be putting off. So anyway, just wanted to share that. I also want to, again, thank Magic Mind for sponsoring this episode. Totally appreciate it, guys. Give it a shot. Try it out. Let me know what you think. And also, again, if you have any recent triggers that have impacted, again, your ability to think clearly, please let me know. Hit me up on an email, social media, that kind of thing. And I strongly encourage you guys, man, if you want to increase your emotional fitness, check out the EQ Mafia. We've got some great speakers lined up, and we have some great content in there already that will help level up your emotional fitness program, emotional health journey to the next level. Emotionally healthy people help heal other people emotionally. Unaddressed emotional issues don't get better over time, they actually compound. If you don't deal with your emotional issues, your friends, family, colleagues, and coworkers will be forced to. Emotionally healthy leaders create emotionally healthy cultures and organizations, which create, maximize, and optimize outcomes and results.